Hey everyone, welcome to my channel and thank you so much for being here. Today's video is going to be a little bit different from my usual posts because I'm going to be working on a personal art project today. But while I'm creating, I'm going to take the opportunity to share with you my road to recovery. I'm excited because I'm celebrating 7 years sober today. The road hasn't always been easy, but art and creating has been the one major outlet that's really contributed to my success and has really saved me. So I just want to kind of take you along and talk to you about what I've been going through. And I invite you to leave me a comment and let me know if you're on the road to recovery or if you're struggling or if you have any outlets that work for you and if you have any questions. Remember, we're stronger together. And so I feel like sharing my story might help at least one person. So if that interests you, I hope that you'll stick around and come along. I first just want to mention that I will link all of the supplies that I'm using in today's video in the description box, just in case you're interested in all of that. And I also want to kind of put a little bit of a disclaimer maybe. I'm telling my story in an authentic way, and there are some parts that are dark and painful. So I appreciate you allowing me to be vulnerable, but I just want to kind of put that disclaimer. I don't know where to begin. I guess I've been battling addiction pretty much my whole life, at least since I was in the double digits, I suppose, my early teens. And I'm pretty sure that I have an addictive personality. Hopefully that makes sense. I've battled many addictions, from weight loss, relationships, drugs, alcohol, sugar. Addiction and alcoholism runs pretty deep in my family. So when it comes to art, while I was growing up, I was always really creative. I loved to draw and build things and decorate my spaces. I remember I wanted a tree house when I was younger, and nobody ever built one, and I didn't have a tree to put it on, but I built one anyways in the slab of cement that we had where we used to have a garage. I mean, it wasn't great, but hey, I tried. But in high school, I took art classes and I really fell in love with creating art. But I had already begun experimenting with alcohol and drugs in my very early teens. By the age of 15, I was sexually assaulted twice, and I was pregnant by the age of 17. And in order to ease all of the hurt, the fear, the resentment, and the pain I was feeling, I turned to drugs and alcohol. Of course, we all know that numbing our anger and pain doesn't actually help us. I struggled with addiction for the next 25 years of my life. I destroyed everything I touched, bouncing from one relationship or job to the next. I hated who I was. I just felt worthless. I made so many mistakes, some of which still affect me today. I was literally just kind of like floating through life with no direction or purpose. It's said that a person has to hit rock bottom before recovery, and that looks different for everyone. And I had already been arrested. I had a failed marriage. I almost lost my life in a car accident. I didn't have any money, and I was emotionally bankrupt. And I tried more than one time to get sober. I even went through inpatient and outpatient rehab programs, neither of which worked. I did learn some valuable information while in those facilities that I have applied to my life today, but I just wasn't ready to get sober at the time. In 2008, I gave birth to my son, Max, and I remained sober through my whole pregnancy, but began drinking shortly after he was born. And in 2011, I gave recovery a try and ended up staying sober for about 3 years, but ultimately it didn't last. I had some people in my life that weren't really very good for me, and I found myself right back where I had been. I could tell that I was slipping already with choices I was making, and then I started kind of like really wanting it, but trying not to, but then not reaching out for help and not really being honest with myself or with other people. So I was doomed. It took me about 4 years to find my way back to sober living. The first times I tried to get sober, it was because of somebody else wanting me to, or because I got in trouble. I wasn't drinking anymore the first time I got sober, but I was never taking the time to heal or grow as a person. I just wasn't drinking. Before getting sober, this time in 2018, I did find myself on more solid ground, and I had a steady job, and I was rekindling my love of art, but I was still drinking and making, bad decisions. And then at the end of May, I found myself in the hospital and I had to get my appendix taken out. And that's like another filter in our bodies. So I was kind of like, oh no, I'm losing another filter and I'm drinking all the time. It was Memorial Day weekend after my surgery, and I drank that weekend. And because, you know, everyone drinks on the holidays, right? So I told myself to give myself excuses to drink. But I struggled for the following week and was really beating myself up and was like, what are you doing? Is this really how you want to live your life and raise your son? And ultimately, the answer was a resounding no. I do not want to do that. And so on June 8th, 2018, I decided that was it, and I was going to live a sober life. As I previously stated, I had rekindled my relationship with art, so it became something positive I could put my energy and focus into. And it has been such an integral part of my recovery and my journey. Taking a blank piece of paper and creating something out of nothing is such a satisfying feeling, even if I don't love the end product. I've been committed to my art journey for the last 8 years, and seeing my growth has been such an amazing experience. Having my artwork to turn to during times of sadness and anger and even rage or boredom even has been extremely therapeutic. There's a reason why art therapy exists. I've also taken the time to practice shadow work. I don't know if you've heard of that, but giving myself the opportunity to let go of past traumas and heal and truly forgive myself for the mistakes I've made. I still deal with depression and sadness and grief and anger, but I have developed healthier ways to deal with all those emotions. I work at having a balanced life, which includes time connecting with nature and the moon. I read, exercise regularly. I've recently dropped 50 pounds. I have a great relationship with my mom, and she helps me so much. And I have a core group of friends that I really care about, and that really helped me as well. I also participate in workshops based on positivity and growth and living a life based on how I want to feel. And I am on the road to loving myself more and finding my self-worth. No matter what, having a creative outlet has brought more passion, creativity, strength, compassion, patience, and joy to my life. I wouldn't be creating art today, teaching art classes, being a content creator, or even have the extensive amount of artwork I have amassed if I wasn't sober. I wouldn't even be here at all, I don't think. If I could offer any advice to anyone who cares or is looking for any, it would be to give yourself grace, ask for help when you need it, connect with nature, maybe start a journal practice, surround yourself with like-minded, positive people who have the same goals as you, or at a minimum aren't causing destruction in your life or, prompting you to do things that aren't healthy. And find something to be passionate about that brings you joy and satisfaction. No matter what, I want you to remember, and I have to tell myself this too, that you are worthy just for existing, just for being here, and you're worth being loved and loving yourself. It's been really hard for me to learn to love myself. And I think we all probably do that or struggle with that. It can be challenging. And I was talking to a friend recently about the way that I can talk to myself sometimes. And I'm like, I would never say that to somebody else. It's like, why do we do that to ourselves? So I try to be aware of it and have tried to be better about not doing it. But again, I fail miserably and have to just keep trying to move forward. That's basically the gist of what I wanted to tell you. It's been a long road, a lot of ups and downs, but I'm here and I'm so happy that I am. I feel really lucky that I have my art to just bring me so much joy and satisfaction, and I have made so many amazing connections in the art world because of it, through art groups, online and in person. And I can't stress enough that it's such an amazing outlet. So, grab some paper, grab a pencil, grab some paint, just put something on paper. Sometimes I feel like I'm too constricted with what I'm working on, but a lot of times, it's great just to grab some paint and put a brush down and just be free and kind of see what comes out. That's some of the most therapeutic things that I've done, and it's really helped me. And like I said in the beginning, if you have any questions for me, or if you're struggling and I can help in some way, if you have any outlets that really help you, I'm always open to learning more ways to cope and find some positivity in my life. So just drop those in the comment section. And I appreciate you allowing me the space to kind of tell my story and just kind of be honest. I know it can be scary to do that and put this out into the world, but if we're not authentic, we're not going to find our people, and we can't really help people. And it helps us to feel like we're not alone if we can share our stories. So again, I appreciate you giving me the chance to tell my story, and I'm sending you guys so many hugs and positive energy. On a side note, I just want to remind you that I'm posting on Sundays now at 1 p.m. And next week's video is going to be part of the Birth Month Flower series, and we're going to be drawing and painting a honeysuckle. So thanks again for being here, and I will see you next week. Bye.